Hi there, thanks for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Catherine. I make artistic journals out of old or vintage or unique books. I'm working on Ada Jane here. And if any of you follow me on Instagram, hold on, let's go down a little bit here. Instagram, you saw that I was going through the little box I have. There's always a little box or a basket going with things in it that I think I might like to put into the journal I happen to be working on, or if I have a couple going at the same time, which is unusual. And I had forgotten that I had put this little tag that had been cut out of a piece of clothing. These little things you'll find at thrift stores when people are going through, they're going through Nana's things, and there's Nana's sewing basket, and say they want to keep the sewing basket, but they don't want all of the stuff that happened to be in Nana's sewing basket. And they'll just sort of gather up all the bobbins and half-used threads and needle booklets and things like that, and boxes of pins. And sometimes you'll get, little pieces. You'll get buttons that are all strung together on a piece of yarn because they all matched from a sweater that Nana had, and she took the buttons off to keep them. And that you'll find these bags of stuff at thrift stores, or at least in my area you do. And this was in one of those bags of little sewing notions. And with junk journalers, you can always use a cool looking little tag. And sure enough, Ada Mackenzie, and I just think that it was just meant to be. I had such a tiny bit of room in order to glue this down that I knew it needed the extra support of being sewn. So I did a tiny stitch as close to that edge as I could so that it's on there very good. And I had to give it a little press because, wow, was it wrinkled. It's even got another little extra, here we go, a little extra thing underneath there. And I think it turned out cute. Something I have noticed since I've challenged myself to use up what I've got. This is my year of no buy. And I have been so good. I have not thrifted for junk journal things since the beginning of the year. So I've gone thrifting, and I've actually only bought two things. I got a sweater. What was the other thing I got? They didn't have to do with junk journaling. I need to start using what I've got because I have plenty. I have too much. And I'm actually enjoying the challenge of using what I've got instead of that craving, because it is a fix. It's it's that adrenaline rush. It's just like a shopping addiction. It's shopping. It's thrifting, at least for me. Not to diagnose anyone out there, but for me, it's that, what if there is something good in that store and I'll miss it? That's the little voice inside my head when I drive past thrift stores, if I can get past them. So now, though, I'm enjoying this new challenge of looking over what I've got. How can I use it up? Instead of finally, if I can't use it, redonating it. And I have this little box, I can't find the lid to it now, that I received as a gift, just to sort of, as a thank you, could you look through this and do a video on what your opinion of it is, kind of thing, from your creative studio. And it really isn't necessarily my kind of thing, but I'm going to make it my kind of thing. I like tabs that are movable and still pretty and still useful. And I thought, I can do that with these. And I like these. These are supposedly little tags that you put strings through. And of course, the whole box is that. But I want to make tabs out of it, a movable tab. It's kind of thin. I'm trying to decide whether that will be strong enough to still hold. And I think it will, especially because if I double this up and then double up another one, it'll become even bulkier. Let's see. I want to choose one that's not really my favorite. But don't tell the tag that. Disney has ruined things for me. Disney makes me think that everything has feelings. You know, that teapots and grandfather clocks really do come to life. Thank you, Mr. Disney and crew, for doing that to me. So what I want to do is, I want these as my outside ones. I like the pictures on these two, and I like the color. But I need them to be the same size, first off. And then I need rounded corners. So let's round those corners. Let's re-round these so they'll match. Oh, don't do that to me. Are you all right? Yes. All right, so those match. Now what I need is, to not waste anything, I'm going to use two tags that I would normally not have used. I probably would have redonated these. It normally is not my not my style. So, but I want them the same size. So let's cut these the same size, and hopefully what I'm doing will start making sense to you. Okay, these are the ones I want to keep. These are the ones that will never be seen. The bunny would have been cute had it been for an Easter journal, but I don't know. Never done an Easter journal. Not my kind of thing. All right, so now I want these backed so that it's a little thicker. I'm going to use art glitter glue because I really want this. I really like these kind of movable tabs that also hold things. They double. They look like a pretty tab sticking out, and they also can hold, they can act like a tuck spot, like a paper clip, but they're pretty. All right, so that will double that up, make it thicker. Let's put something heavy on top for now. Then we'll do the same thing here. Is that the one? Yes, that's the one I want to keep. Okay. I like the little birdie on it. All right. Very good. Let's put that one under there too. Oh, you're stuck to it, are you? All right. We'll put those there. In the meantime, while that just sits for a second, let me show you what I did the other day, because I did a few things. I made a pocket out of some lace. It's nice thin lace, so it's not too bulky. I made another journaling card out of all these cards. Again, not wanting to waste things. These are from those scrapbook pads that you can get where one sheet will have like 12 tags all laid out on it. And so I just, in my attempts to, use it or lose it kind of thing, cut them up and put them aside. And so this was one of those. I have another one in there that is one of them. And but the back is scrapbook paper. It looks like it's a negative of music notes on sort of yellowish paper, but I wanted to be able to write on it. And I've got leftover scraps here from an accounting book from a tailor who had a shop in the town next to me. And this lovely old book, you can see where he had business come in. So someone named Christopher Law probably, brought an overcoat in, or had one, or ordered one to be made for $10 a suit, $18, $18 for a suit. Another overcoat for $10.50 in December, one for May. Interesting. Hat, $2.50. Not sure whether this is for mending or it was a tailor, so I suppose it was to have them made. Anyhow, the book is an accounting of work, customers and their work orders from 1888 well into about 1918. So not to waste those, because I've been using some of them. I used some blank parts of this on the little basket that's in here. And then I figured if I use this piece, you can see 1912 there, and it's actual paper, so it's genuine ephemera, even though this isn't, this is. And there's still room for journaling there. So I liked the color of her dress. It reminds me of the burgundy that's in several areas of this this journal. There's where I used some of the paper that was blank at the bottom of the page. Now I have, in hunting for things, I found a couple more things I want to use. I found this envelope, and it actually was also for a sewing machine fixing company. They in Hamilton, Clark Brothers, which I found interesting because it's spelled the right way with an E on the end. And I have two of these envelopes that I found at my favorite little weigh and pay in town, a few towns over, when I used to go, when I go do my mom's hair on Tuesdays, and I'd go thrifting at the town next door. So I wanted to be able to put this in as a flip. So I thought, okay, I'll use some sari silk to make a hinge so that it's a really floppy flip. And but I want to put it on a busy page. Is that too... that might be a good busy page to put it onto, because then it could get opened up, and this is pretty. All right, let's move our little tags. Don't worry, we are going to finish this task so that you know what I'm doing for it. For this one, I want it to flip out so that it lies like that on the page, but it can flip out, and then I can tuck something in there, or the new owner can. And I think it's going to be as simple as using Fabri-Tac. This bottle of Fabri-Tac has a really odd lid on it. Did I not close it properly? When I was using it yesterday. Yeah, I can feel it. The glue dried in there. I wondered why that lid popped off too easy. That lid's been giving me a headache. It doesn't like to come off. I'm just going to put this on really, really thin, because I know it's going to want to soak through that sari silk. So I'm going to put it on really thin, and then as well I'm going to really, really paste it or spread it out with a silicone makeup brush, and then I'm going to lay it down. And if I need to, I can add more, because I'm not sure I got it even in the right spot. It's not my goal to have this look perfect. If you've ever seen an actual scrapbook, there's a reason why they were called scrapbooks. They used scraps. They used bits and pieces from dresses and leftovers. And although it's so tempting to want that piece of lace to be the exact right length and have it just look perfect, I have to remind myself that if I want it to look faux-authentic, as opposed to, it obviously is not authentic, but if I want it to appear that way, my goal needs to be to have it be a little bit shabby, so that it sort of leaves the person who's perusing through to wonder, is this real? Is it not real? Is this actually an old... There, that's better. See what I mean? How you can see the glue through it. But again, that probably would have happened if they'd used rubber cement. I'm going to leave that the way it is. Maybe an old paper clip on there, like that for now, till I decide what I want to put in there. All right, I'm going to leave this open for now, so that the little bit of glue that is drying doesn't glue this page onto that page, because I almost did that yesterday. Let's come down a bit. Yesterday I made this. This is similar to what we're going to do in a minute. Let me move my number 3 over so it doesn't get in the way. This little, it's like a notepad, so you can lift up and write, but it's movable. So it has, I've used something of the same size on the other side, and I've glued it so that about half an inch, not a quarter of an inch, not quite half an inch, yeah, quarter of an inch, still sticks up, so it looks like a tab sticking up out of the book. So I could move it somewhere else. Maybe it would be like a bookmark. And then if you can imagine these aren't there, that's eventually going to stick up over the top of the book and be noticeable and add to the ambiance of the book. Now, I wanted that open, didn't I? And there I am closing it. Where is that page with the envelope? There it is. Okay, I'm going to put this aside, let it dry. Where's our little... This thing honestly weighs a ton. It weighs 8 pounds. Oh, so anyone who's like me has ever been on a diet and you think, oh rats, I only lost 8 pounds. Oh my goodness, like that's a lot of weight to lose. No wonder our ancestors, our mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers were tough stuff. Even just to iron something, I had to be lifting one of these things all day long, on ironing day at least. I remember ironing day, even in my 65 years. There was, for my mother, there was wash day. Then if it was winter time, there was drying day. If it was summertime, the drying could be done on the same day because it could go outside and it would dry that day. But if it was winter time, it had to get hung up inside, and you hoped that it dried within a day, depending on how warm the house was. Our basement at the time wasn't finished completely, so we, in the winter, had clotheslines. I told this story before, so if you've heard it, I apologize. If you haven't heard it, stick around, you'll hear it again. So there was, if it was winter, there was drying day. And then, so by Wednesday was ironing day. Now, I usually go around the backside as well in case I don't quite glue it precisely. It'll make a difference, pardon me, in the appearance. I feel like this little bird is missing something, and I think maybe it's a word snippet because there's an empty space here, and I think he needs to be saying hello or something like that. So we're going to go find a word snippet to let that little bird have his say. Anyhow, so yeah, so ironing day, I full well remember my job was sprinkling the dried clothing. My mom had a beer bottle with a plastic lid that had holes poked in it. And it was my job to shake the water all over whatever was going to be ironed and then roll it up into a tight bundle and put it in a basket and let the dampness just permeate through. Just enough dampness, not too wet, not too dry. There's my word snippet book. Word snippets. I haven't had this baby out in ages. Ta-da! What should this little bird be saying? Oh, I like that. Cheer up. All right. Cheer up. There we go. That was easy. So, yeah, there would just be ironing all day. Mom would be, my brothers would be at school. If I was in kindergarten, that was half days. So My kindergarten was in the morning, so I even would have come home from kindergarten at lunch, and then for the afternoon helped Mom with the ironing. Never helped her with the washing because it was a wringer washing machine, and she never wanted any of us children near that wringer. Here we go. And that would take up 3 of her days of the week. It's no wonder women, that someone was needed to be at home. Cheer up. Oh, that's cute. And that fills up that spot. Doesn't need to be perfect. All right, so here's how these 2 little cards, because they're nice and stiff now, become a tab. So you sort of decide how much you want it to stick out. I usually like it to stick out, like I said, maybe not quite 1/2 inch, maybe 1/2 inch. And I do the top. You can also make it stick out so that it's always crooked. And that's easy to do as well. Or you can have it stick out that way. Maybe we should do crooked. Let's do crooked, then more of that little bird will show. Here's my sneaky way of remembering which angle I wanted the crooked to be. Flip it over and use your pencil. Just draw a line so that you know where you want your glue to be. Use a nice strong glue because this is going to take a beating if you're going to be moving it about in the book and taking papers in and out. The lengths don't need to match, as you can tell by this one here. This length is about 1 inch and a bit, whereas this one is, no, maybe that's 1 inch, and yeah, this is 1 1/4 inches. The length doesn't, this north-south doesn't need to match, but the east-west needs to match. So there we go. That is there. Now let's find a page and I'll show you what I mean. So because we did it crooked, that will stick out of the book that way. Here, we'll move him down a bit. We'll move him down here. So that will stick out. So there's a little birdie head sticking out there. But the cool thing about it is that if you've got a piece of paper, it will hold it in place, and it will do it on either side. And if you don't want it on the side of the book, it will work at the top. Move it up to the top, move it to the page you're working on. There it would be sticking out the top, a little bird at the top of your book. See what I mean? I was able to use up 4 of these tags that I was going to redonate, and I still may redonate some of the ones that I don't intend on keeping. I'm going to let this continue drying. I have got over enthusiastic and thought, oh, I'll just let it dry right on the page in the book, and then found that I had glued it into the book. So I'm going to put this aside and let it dry. And now I'm looking at my clock, and yeah, it's 30 minutes. And I aim for 30 minutes. I'm going to keep working. I've got some pansies there that are going to go in the book somewhere. I've got a whole bunch of little things that are going to go in the book somewhere. This was in my meatball box from Nancy from so long ago. See what I mean? I'm finding things. This was in actually my own journal, but my own quote journal, experiment number 3. Where are you? Experiment number 3. This one. was already getting too fat, and I had to take some pages out, some blank pages. And this was on one of the blank pages. And I thought, I'm not going to let this beautiful lady go to waste. And I think she's going to go into this book. Since she's not going to go into experiment number 3, someone else can enjoy her. And that's what I'll be doing after I turn off my camera. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm planning on working up here. My grandson is coming over to trim a tree for us. It's one of the perks of having adult grandchildren who work for a landscaping company. So he's going to come over and help us so that my husband, who thinks he's young, and he's young at heart for sure, not have to go up a ladder to trim a tree. We'll let the tall young grandchildren do that. That's what I'll be doing. So hopefully you've got something fun and interesting to do, and that you're all safe and healthy, and we'll get together again soon. So thanks for joining me, and thanks for joining me while we made this cute little tab. And if you're feeling kind of sad, I hope that helped cheer you up. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye.